Pozdrav svima! Drago mi je da ovdje vidim mnogo starih i novih prijatelja I ljubitelja sloboda. It's so great to see so many of my old and new friends here and so many lovers of liberty, of freedom. And thank you all for coming out to Liberland's 9th anniversary. It's great to see you here. Anyway, it's a great honor to be here. It's a great honor to greet all of you here. And, you know, we're going to have a look back on our successes in 2023 and the first part of 2024. And a little bit of what I'm going to talk about is what our plans for the rest of 2024 are and going forward. So my last speech at Liberland event was pretty great. You know, a lot of people came up to me and said it was original and good. The only thing was the original parts weren't very good and the good parts weren't very original. So I'll try to do a little better this time. Our brave settlers, that Vit mentioned, have been in Liberland over 230 days, I think it's been, since August 6th. And I have to tell you, I was there on August 6th with the first group of settlers going in. And we went, the moment I stepped over that border into Liberland, it was a magical moment. It was a dream come true. And it was a Saturday. We'd driven over there from here. I was driving the Sprinter van back and forth to bring supplies, and we went in, and Chafik, you were there as well, and many other people in the room were there. And it was just a magic, fantastical moment to set foot. It was a dream come true, really. My second dream was to ride my bike across Liberland, and I did that 3 or 4 times, and that was just beautiful. I went with a number of people from the north part all the way down to the south part, and that was just really another dream come true, and I hope to do that again sometime soon. So our diplomacy, it continues, and you know, we ask all of you to be a part for pushing for recognition of Liberland and Liberland's sovereignty and our status as a sovereign republic. We've launched new offices all over the world: Washington, D.C., Mexico City, Belgrade, Buenos Aires, Argentina, and other places too. So, and we can help you if you want to have a Liberland office or representative office. We can help you with some ideas. You can even turn it into a self-supporting endeavor. You can have it as sort of a co-working space. You can have it as an events venue. You can have it as sort of a diplomatic meeting point or a business hub. That would be a great probably money-making idea for you if you want to combine that with a Liberland representative office. And we have a checklist of things and some other ideas that we can help you with. Just talk to us about that. So our plan for 2024 and beyond involves advancing on many fronts. Diplomacy, of course, pushing our legal cases, which are very important. We have a little over 100 cases in Croatian courts, and we've begun to win some of the, now the court system is very slow in Croatia, but our first cases that are finally getting through the system, we're starting to win them. They're either dropping the charges because they don't have evidence, or they can't prove that whatever violation happened in Croatia, or they're just not filing paperwork and they just drop the case. So we're starting to win some of the legal cases over in Croatian court, and we're very excited about that. Of course, you know, we are approaching, we're filing complaints about the way we've been treated over there. The Croatian border police, the regular police, and Hrvatska šuma, which is the state-owned forestry company. They have been harassing us quite a bit. So we've got some legal cases against them. We're filing complaints about them too, both on the Croatian level as well as the European level, and I think we're going to push it to the international level in various channels. So really happy about implementing our blockchain and blockchain governance. LLM, LLD, they're already on, LLD is already on a couple of exchanges, and we're working with some of the decentralized exchange people to get it to be able to be traded and sent and bought there. We're really strengthening our social media and marketing and content strategy. We have Christopher and Carmina here at the ARC. We've been working up here at ARC and making this into a studio, which has been a lot of fun. I've done a lot of interviews with the settlers, with some of our other people, and we're planning on doing regular reporting. So all of you and everybody else throughout the world can keep up to date on what's going on in and around Liberland. So in 2023, we did so much, and it was so great to be a part of that. We're in the first settler who actually was picked up by the Croatians and is in a refugee camp now, Honza Urban. He was the first settler back in January and February of last year, and he was there for 25 days in Liberland. So he was the first person to stay long-term on the territory in Liberland. And he's been with us for quite a while, and he's stuck his neck out there and risked it to further the cause of Liberland, and hopefully we'll get him out of there pretty soon. So February, we opened our office in Mexico City. We are at Acapulco, and we have a gentleman here today from Acapulco to talk about that. And I think we're going to look at having Acapulco Europe maybe sometime in September here. And that will be just so much fun to bring all the people associated, Jeff and all his people coming over here. That'll just be a lot of fun, because the Mexico events are tremendous. I went there, and Vit and Navid, a bunch of us went there this year, and we just had a wonderful time. There's already a bunch of Liberlanders that attend those events, so why can't we have some kind of synergy where we bring some of them over here? In April, we had our 8th anniversary, and that was a really interesting turning point, because there's a famous YouTube host named Nico Omilana, and he came here for the anniversary last year, right where I'm standing and where you're sitting, and he was determined to go to Liberland, and he made it. And it was all filmed. He tried to go through the different border checks, and he was turned away. 6 ways to sundown, he tried to get over there, but we finally figured out a way for him to get in. He went to Hungary, to Mohacs, I believe it was, and went to Liberland on a jet ski. So he wasn't going through Croatia. He wasn't coming from Serbia. He was coming from Hungary. So they didn't expect that. And he was able to set foot on the land. He planted a flag. The cops came and roughed him up and his buddy up a little bit. But it was all on film. They took his camera, but they still had a drone filming the whole scenario. And that video was finally released in July of last year. And guess how many views that video has now? Over 9 million. 9 million people, or maybe a couple repeats. Anyway, multiple million people have seen that video. And he tells the story of Liberland very beautifully with, animations and what the dynamics are between Serbia and Croatia, and a little bit about the history and the conflicts that occurred. So that was actually a turning point last year. In August, right after he released his video, there was a change in Croatian policy. At the end of July, beginning of August, they decided, well, we are going to administer the territory. They were very clear that they didn't claim it, because they want these big pockets of land over here on this side. But they said, well, we're going to administer it. And the first people walked in, passing through the Croatian border check into Liberland. And many of us here in that room were part of that contingent. And that's where things really, really changed. So we've had people there for over 230 days, and we're really proud of them. A couple other things led up to that. In our international diplomacy, we're working in Washington, D.C. We've been meeting with decision makers and representatives over there. And we also take part in the Government Blockchain Association. And we're also going to take part in one of their events next month. That is basically, it's a nonprofit organization that brings together experts, policymakers, and people in various industries in the blockchain, and talk about how we can bring blockchain technology to governance systems. And that's exactly what we're doing with Liberland. So we usually participate in their conferences. And actually, next month, in May, we are going to host the finale reception for the Government Blockchain Association, the final reception. They are having it at our office in Washington, D.C., and we have a beautiful office over there at the Pierce School Lofts. And so we're going to have a lot of GBA people involved, a lot of Liberland people, so that will be great. And we're going to hopefully maybe invite some diplomats and people from Congress to come and check us out. So also last year, something that might have caused a change in Croatian policy. I'm not 100% sure, but it was a great development. Our own president, Vit, met Zoran Milanovic, who's the president of Croatia, at the Association of Croatian American Professionals in Zagreb. So it was really amazing that we were able to meet him. met the former president, Kolinda, and also many, many other people in Croatia who were very influential. So we don't know. And the guy who is the governor of the Osijek-Baranja County, Ivana Nusic, is now the Minister of Defense. He told Navid, our finance minister, hey, Liberland, that's in my backyard. And so let's come and talk sometime. But he got promoted. And, it's a little hard to talk to him now. But he knows who we are. And hopefully there will be some positive steps in that direction and in our favor. So, and last year was Floating Man. I came over, like Fitz said. I'd only planned on spending, 2 or 3 weeks over here, then going back home. And things changed, and I thought I could make a much bigger difference here, meeting with people, working with people, and every day seeing people that are important to our mission, working directly with them, exchanging ideas, doing all sorts of work. I thought I could make a bigger difference by being here. So, and of course, as in September, so we had established the settlement. A couple things happened where the Croatian Forestry Company, the state-owned one, came in and demolished our buildings over there. Obviously, the people were still allowed to stay there, but all of our equipment, our structures, our Starlink, our stove, our refrigerator, all that stuff got taken away, and we're fighting that in the Croatian court. So that's another challenge. If it's not one challenge, it's another. And recently, the water level of the Danube rose a couple of meters, and that inundated our second settlement on Liberty Island. Liberty Island is the strip of land that's actually right on the Danube. It's part of Liberland, just like Liberland is also on the Danube, but this island is right there. And we had built a settlement there, and miraculously, they left that alone. We built, instead of out of wood, we used hard-packed sandbags and put roofs on these structures. We had 3 structures over there, but the Croatians didn't take them away. The river did. And we had to evacuate that secondary settlement on Liberty Island. And but the people are still holding strong. And like I said, it'll be great when we can celebrate 1 year occupying Liberland. That'll be a very proud moment. And that's something we can show to other countries. So it's like, well, yes, you have something that looks like a government, although it's very minimal, and we intend to keep it that way. You do have a place that you say is yours, but you have people on the land. For many years, we couldn't even say, yes, we have people on the land. But now we do. Sometimes it's more rather than less, or less rather than more. The weekend before last, we had almost 200 people come to Liberland, and that was great. That was a Czech group called Vlakfest, and Vlak is train, and they go to take a train to a new place every couple of months, and they didn't tell them where they were taking them. And they brought this group, large group of people to Liberland, and we coordinated that with them. And it went off without a hitch. And the Croatians didn't even bother trying to harass them. We actually informed them beforehand. We gave them a list of people, and they let them come in. And it was great to see all the photos of all the young folks going over to Liberland. We want more of that. And as the spring and summer unfolds, we will be bringing more people. We want to have a marathon there. We want to have bike riding, mountain biking, all sorts of outdoor activities are possible in Liberland. So we want to encourage more of that and try to reach a wider audience to people who might be interested in that. We also had our first wedding in Liberland last year. We were able to watch it from the boats. We also had an MMA match over there. We had our first Christmas and our first New Year's in Liberland. And I was really proud of that because, to actually spend these very important holidays over there with friends and family and our Liberland family, that was really a milestone for us. And these are things that we can show the outside world. Hey, these guys really are over there. They're not just talking about it or driving by in a boat once a month or something like that. This is a real thing, and it's happening. And all of you can help make this happen, help make our presence a real thing. Liberland is a sovereign republic in the world, and the more people that are woken up to it, the better. And of course, our friends in Argentina, Javier Milei, who is already a fan of Liberland, was elected president, and we've been talking. We've sent 2 delegations there already. Maybe I'll go there at some point in the future myself. I always wanted to go to Argentina. But he's a fan of ours. We talked to the foreign minister. We talked to other folks who are very close to him, and actually we have an office there in Buenos Aires. So many other things went on last year. I mean, I can't even begin to describe. Here at Ark Village, we had so many great events. Our great staff who are here every day working hard put on so many great events. We had a longevity conference right here in this room and downstairs where we had a lot of, healthy food people come. We had yoga people here, massage therapy, all sorts of great stuff. That was a great event. We have many things like that, many such cases of very interesting events that are either cultural or health-focused or something of that nature. And we have them all the time. And if any of you have ideas on some great event that we could hold here at beautiful Ark Village, please let us know. Now, I started a little library over here. It's still pretty small. If you know me a little more closely, you know I sell books. I sell them online. So I'm trying to create a library here. And we did our first book talk video with Bojan Drazic. He's a local library science guy. And we discussed dystopian novels like 1984, Brave New World, Yevgeny Zamyatin, and stuff like that. So we're going to do more in-depth cultural stuff like that with the locals here. Anyway, we also have relations with other countries. I just heard from my very good friend Juan Carlos in El Salvador, where we practically made a very big state visit there 2 years ago and donated a whole Bitcoin to the Children's Hospital. We've got great stuff going on in the Dominican Republic, and we've already written some of the agreements that we want to sign with them, and we're very close with them. Several African countries. Our Secretary of State, Dr. Tariq Abbasi, has been nonstop traveling to many African countries where he already had many, many good connections on a higher diplomatic level. And we actually signed a number of agreements. And I'll read off some of the countries we've had direct talks with: Liberia, Malawi, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and a couple other ones in Africa. So let's not forget those. Unfortunately, Tariq couldn't be with us. Michal couldn't be with us, but they're certainly here in spirit, and we want to recognize their contributions. And all of you, all of our team members and the settlers and employees who work here, all of their contributions to Liberland and making it happen. Let's give them all a round of applause.